Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of OHKO. So today, we're going to be looking at Miltank. Because I think it's about time we had a look at the new Miltank that came out in Team Up. And I need to give a massive shout out to the lovely Legally Sarcastic, one of my supporters over at patreon.com/PTCGRadio, for, I suppose, giving me this idea with a question he asked for the bonus pod recently. Now, it's not really my place to give you the deck list for this, but if he wishes to share the deck list and pops a comment down below, I will pin it to the top of the comment section so you guys can see it. But what I want to do at the moment is just explain it and just have a chat about Miltank. I think I said Team Up, I meant Lost Thunder. Miltank, ladies and gentlemen, is one of those cards that looks kind of fun, and then you think about it for a minute and it's probably a bit too gimmicky and it's never going to work. And then you think about it for a little bit more and you go, no, this could be really good. So Miltank then. It's a colourless Pokemon, so you don't get any extra tricks. And it's weak to fighting, which is kind of bad with all the Buzzwole running around. And it shares a weakness with Pikarom, which is about to be the best deck in the format in like a week and a half when it's legal. And then you think about it a little bit more and you're like, no. Because actually the attack can be really good. What does it do? Well, free colourless energy. Reveal any number of Moo Moo Milk cards from your hand. This attack does 60 damage for each card you revealed in this way. So if you've got 4 Moo Moo Milk in your hand, you're doing 240 damage. Slightly annoying that Oranguru can't be used here, because Oranguru lets you draw until you've got 3 cards in hand, and you need a minimum 4 cards in hand for this to be really good. Now, I will say that it does just miss some key KOs. Now, against things like Baby Buzz, hey Nick, you're 10 damage short, that sucks. Against regular Buzz, that is if you got 2 Moo Moo Milk in hand. Against Big Daddy Buzz, Buzzwole GX, 3 Moo Moo Milk, 180, that's not the KO. But Shrine of Punishment, which incidentally is a given in this deck, or Choice Band, and you get the KO. But let's say for argument's sake you do get all 4 Moo Moo Milk. All 4 Moo Moo Milk is 240 damage. With a Shrine of Punishment, that's any GX, even the big boys like Metagross. With a Choice Band, that is even up to things like Eevee and Snorlax Tag Team GX. Or up to things like Celebi and Venusaur Tag Team GX. If you've got a Choice Band and 4 Moo Moo Milk in hand, you are literally getting a one-hit KO on every single Pokemon in the format other than Magikarp and Wailord Tag Team GX. That will, at 300 HP, still elude you, but there's nothing to stop you leaving a Shrine of Punishment in for a couple of turns and getting a KO in that way. So in terms of the pure damage output here, Miltank's got it going on. How do we actually get it rolling? And there are 2 issues with Miltank, and I think we've got answers for both of them. Question number 1, oh, it's a third energy, that's really annoying, how do we deal with that? Question number 2, how do we get the Moo Moo Milk? And the answers are fairy. It's all about fairies. So the answer to the first question, how do we get the free energy? It's a combination of double colourless energy and Mina. Mina is a lovely little supporter card that lets you search your deck for a fairy energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon. So you go Mina, you go double colourless energy, you are rolling. Now, there's nothing to stop you playing something like Malamar here. The issue with Malamar is it's a stage 1, it takes a turn to get going, you need your bench space, and then you're at this weird resources battle. Because are you using your resources to get Moo Moo Milk in your hand, or are you using your resources to get your Malamar set up? And the problem is, you probably aren't doing both. And the problem is, we really want to do both. So we take Malamar off the table, and in its place, in comes Mina. And I really like Mina here. You get the extra energy. Big downside of Mina, it's your supporter for the turn. Which means you're not playing something like Cynthia, for instance, which is a bit of an issue. But we don't worry about that because firstly, Miltank's are basic. So you can use Nest Ball, or you can use Ultra Ball, or you can kind of use whatever you want. There's a million different ways you can search out a basic. And the other answer to not having a supporter is the same answer to how do we get all of our Moo Moo Milk in our hand The answer is a Lowland Ninetails. And it's a very nice answer indeed. You see, a Lowland Ninetails has a lovely little ability that lets you, when you evolve up into it, search your deck for 2 item cards and put them into your hand. So here, you try and get 2 Lowland Ninetails, and then all of a sudden, you're searching out 4 of these, and you're good to go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the key here. A Lowland Ninetails searches out your cards. Now, sure, you can use something like OHKO, but then you put it on top of your deck, and then you've got to be drawing some cards, and it just gets a little bit awkward. The theory here is very simple. If you go first, you should be able to get a turn 2 KO on basically anything. Now, if you go second, you can go Mina, but you cannot get your Lowland Ninetails turn 2. Incidentally, if you go first and cannot attack, then Mina becomes a lot less important because you can attach and then next turn double colorless energy and be attacking. The reason why we keep playing Mina here is so that in one turn we can go Mina, double colorless, attack. That's the crucial thing here. What we don't want is to be in a position where we've got the Moo Milk, but we need the third energy. So Mina can be used as just a quick, oh, it's my first turn, Mina, double colorless, go. But it can also be used to get Miltank rolling in a single turn, which is very, very, very important. And that is in essence how this deck works. A Lowland Ninetails to search out the Moo Milk, Mina for the third energy, and you're off and rolling. But there's an awful lot to like about this. Firstly, we're talking a single prize Pokemon that can get one-hit KOs on Tag Team GXs. Make no mistake about it, this is ridiculous. We don't see this often enough. Something like Granbull. Granbull is a great card. But Granbull, with a Choice Band and a Shrine of Punishment, is hitting 200. There's plenty of GXs that will go down with that amount of damage. But you're not getting Tag Team GXs. That's just not happening. Miltank you legitimately can. Is it a bit of a pain trying to get the double Lowland Ninetails while also getting Mina for the third energy? Yeah, you bet it is. But we're talking about a single prize Pokemon that can KO Tag Team GXs for free prizes. If it was easy, it would be the guaranteed best deck in the format, and I wouldn't be bringing you a video about, hey, this could be fun, this could work. I'd be bringing you a video about, hey, this deck is crushing tournaments. So I think it's worth putting a bit of time and effort into trying to get this rolling. Because if it works, you've got a significant competitive advantage over pretty much every other deck in the format. And that is worth going to a little bit of effort to try and achieve. And while we're here, I think Shrine of Punishment is a given. I think Shrine of Punishment here is absolutely brilliant because you've got the advantage of you're not playing GXs, so down comes some damage. Now, I have mentioned a Lowland Ninetails. And the more observant among you may realise that a Lowland Ninetails is a GX and will take the damage. On the one hand, slightly annoying. On the other hand, you've got Ace Roller to try and pick it up, get it off the field. And incidentally, I love this idea because Ace Roller means you can play down the Lowland Ninetails again and research. The reality is your opponent is going to at some point play something like a Judge or a Marshadow to make you shuffle your hand. When they do, you're going to lose the Moo Milk that are in your hand. So when they do that, fine. Ace Roller up your Lowland Ninetails and replay it. And yes, okay, your opponent can Guzma and take it out. Here's the thing. If your opponent is playing a Guzma to KO a Lowland Ninetails, they're not playing a Judge, so you're probably keeping the Moo Milk. And they're not KOing Miltank, so you're probably keeping the free energy. And if your opponent is doing anything that keeps the Moo Milk in your hand and the free energy on your Miltank, both of the issues we had with this Pokemon are gone, and you're just left with, brilliant, I'll take a GX or a Tag Team GX KO next turn. I don't care that you've taken out my Lowland Ninetails. The one exception to this, if you're playing against a Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX, do not let free damage counters get on a Lowland Ninetails, or their GX attack can KO it on the bench and take an extra 2 prizes, while KOing your Miltank, which would be bad. I cannot sit here and tell you this is going to be the new best deck in the format. It's a little bit awkward, which is why it's not seen massive success. But the reality is, we've got ways to search out the Moo Moo Milk, we've got ways to get the extra energy, and then you're left with a Pokemon doing 240 damage that only gives up one prize. Tell me that is not worth having a little bit of a play around with, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me that's not worth playing around with. Incidentally, my last point about this deck, you do need to be playing straight draw, stuff like How or maybe even Whitney here, because you can't play Cynthia because it shuffles your Moo Moo Milk back into your deck, and you cannot play stuff like Lily because you need to have a large hand, and when you've got a large hand it does nothing. So you will need stuff like How to make this work. The good news is, we just got Pidgeotto. Let's look at the top two cards of your deck, one in your hand, one on the bottom of your deck. That looks pretty good in a deck like this. And although it's not going to be out till Unbroken Bonds, I really need to remind you that Green Search is coming. And it says that if you've got no Pokemon in play with an ability, you get to search your deck for any 2 trainer cards and put them into your hand. It won't work if you've got a Lowland Ninetails on the field, but it absolutely will work if you don't, and that'll search out your Moo Moo Milk very nicely indeed. I want Miltank to be good. I want this to be a great deck, and I think there is a lot of potential here. This has got to be worth having a play around with. Huge thank you to the lovely Legally Sarcastic over on Twitter for the inspiration. Lovely dude. And I hope I did your idea justice. And if you do want to share your list, pop it in the comment section and I will pin it. But everybody else, the comment section is where you tell me your thoughts on Miltank. Do you think it's going to work? Do you think there's some potential? Or do you think it's just too awkward? Go nuts in the comment section. But please do remember the most important rule as always. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, where we talk about fun stuff. Twitch.tv/PTCGRadio is where you go for live action, and Patreon.com/PTCGRadio is where you can get involved in conversations like the one that led to this video. And please make sure you're checking out YouTube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk other card games. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.